If you're someone who's hitting fat shots all the time, this video is absolutely going to fix that for you. Now, in case you don't know, which you probably should, but a fat shot is essentially when we connect with the ground before the golf ball. And what ends up happening is we end up taking a big divot before the golf ball and the ball just goes 10, 20, maybe even 30 yards. Now, something has just recently come across my desk and it's called the strike wedge. This could literally be the answer to those fat shots that you've been struggling with for an eternity. Now, if you want to get a hold of this strike wedge, you can see the link in my description. You can get a discount on this very product. So how does this strike wedge help someone who hits the ball heavy? It looks like a doorstop, let's admit it. We could slide this underneath the door and we can stop that door kind of opening and closing. That's kind of the joke around this strike wedge. But I'll tell you right now, it is much, much better than a doorstop. It can really help your game. Now, if you're struggling with fat shots, what we can simply do is place this strike wedge down on the ground, a little bit behind the golf ball. You can put it further behind if you wish, or you can put it a little bit closer to make it harder. But essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to put a strike wedge right there. And all you're going to focus on is trying not to hit it. You're going to try and strike ball first, turf second, and it's going to be a lot easier when there's an external device like the strike wedge behind the golf ball. So let's give this a go. All I've got is a strike wedge there reminding me to get my low point forwards. That's all I'm trying to do. So my brain is computing that if there's something behind the ball, I might need to move more forwards in order to miss it. So let's give this a shot. Just going to set up to my golf ball, normal setup. My brain is thinking of the strike wedge, and let's go ahead and hit this golf shot. So you can see there that my golf ball was sitting right here, and I was able to take the turf second. There was no chance that I was hitting this strike wedge. Now, if you are someone who struggles with fat shots, you're likely going to connect with this strike wedge way too early, and that thing's going to go all over the place. Now, you might be wondering, is it really that easy? Now, for some players, it could be. It could be literally that easy. Place the strike wedge behind the golf ball, strike ball first, turf second, your ball striking is going to be fixed. However, as a coach, I see things in golfers' golf swings that will stop them no matter what. It will stop them from hitting ball first, turf second. Now, as great as that strike wedge is, there are things in our golf swing that will force you to cast that golf club and hit the strike wedge before the golf ball. And that's what we're going to fix today. So what are these things in our golf swing that will stop us from hitting ball first, turf second, even if we've got a strike wedge there? I would say the most common error is when a golfer has an open club face at the top of their golf swing. Here's why it's so detrimental. When a golfer has an open club face at the top of their swing, what they're typically going to do is you're going to see them cast or throw that golf club. Now, from this face-on angle here, you're going to see that when that face is open, I need to throw my angles, which then leads me to having this golf club too close to the ground, too late in my golf swing. And what I'm going to do is strike that strike wedge all the time. If that face is open, it's severely detrimental to your ball striking. Now, like I keep saying, the strike wedge is great, but if you're someone who continuously strikes this thing before the golf ball, and even the strike wedge doesn't help you, there may be things in your swing that are, creating that. And for me, an open club face is a massive reason why that happens. So what causes an open club face for the majority of golfers? Well, in my experience, I see a golfer that has too weak of a grip, so the lead hand is a bit too much under this grip, and potentially the trail hand is a bit too much on top of that grip. Now, straight away, you're going to see when I take this club back, that club face is wide open at the top. So again, from here, you have to throw this golf club a lot, and you can see from face on here that face is now square, which is great. However, this isn't a very good impact position, is it? We want to be a lot more forward and leaning that shaft with that face turned down a little bit so that we can deal off the club and get some compression. Now, another common reason why golfers have an open club face at the top is, let's say they've got a good grip, but their wrist angles at the top are severely cupped. So I'm going to take a very good grip, pretty neutral grip. I'm going to get to the top of my swing, but you'll see here my left wrist, or my lead wrist, is severely cupped. Again, this opens the club face, which then forces me to steepen that golf club, and then I'm going to stand up, throw the club, and again, this is where I'm going to strike that strike wedge way too early, and I'm not going to get ball first, turf second contact. So in order to fix these issues, the first thing I want you to do is grip the golf club better. So we're going to go with a stronger lead hand grip and a fraction of a stronger trail hand grip. What you want to look out for is the crease between thumb and index finger is pointing at my trail shoulder. The same goes with my trail hand. So this right here points at the trail shoulder, and the trail hand does the same. The crease between thumb and index finger points at my trail shoulder. So you can see that there. Straight away, that's going to help control that club face a lot better. There's going to be no need to cast the golf club when the face is in a stronger position. Now, secondly, we want to allow this lead wrist to flatten at the top. So for some of you who are extended, it will feel like you are severely flexed. Now, again, this is why it's important to use a camera to go and see what it looks like, even though you might feel it's super extreme. So if you can get a stronger grip and have that lead wrist in a flatter position at the top of your swing, just like you can see here, you can see that club face is in a much stronger position. Now from face on here, you're going to notice that if I cast my golf club now, that face is going to be severely closed and I'm going to hit the ball left. Now, in order to fix that closed face now, I need to lean that shaft forwards. Shaft lean actually opens the club face, which is why when your face is open at the top of the swing, you can't lean it, which is why the strike wedge, in a way, may not be beneficial if you have an open club face at the top. We need to fix the root cause of the problem, which is what we're doing here. And then we're going to use the strike wedge as an external factor to allow you to hit that ball first, turf second, and get that low point more forward. So now we have a stronger grip and our wrist angles are better at the top. Now the strike wedge can play its role. This is now a fantastic product for a golfer who has fixed the root cause of their problem. And we can go ahead and feel as though we get to the top of that swing. We can start to shift forward. We can start to lean that shaft, and that strike wedge should be absolutely nowhere near being hit. So let's give this another go and see how we strike it. So there you can see, once again, nowhere near the strike wedge was my club. I was able to get that golf club to come above that strike wedge, hit the ball first, take some turf second, and that's how you're going to fix your low point issues and your fat shots. So if you do want a strike wedge for yourself, hit that link in the description below. And if you're thinking, Ryan, can these withstand getting hit all the time? Absolutely they can. Click that link in the description, grab one for yourself, and let's test it.